When school starts in the fall, it will be the second year of implementing the blueprint for Maryland's future, the historic reform that will add billions in funding to public schools over the next decade. But while this new report released on Friday shows that state funding has increased over the past 5 years, the findings about this year and the years ahead show cracks forming in the foundation.
The impacts are going to be weaker than intended because the funding levels don't automatically increase for higher than expected inflation.
Governments in our area are scrambling to find money to fund the blueprint for Maryland's future, also known as the Kerwin Plan.
Well, the massive increase in education spending is supposed to make Maryland schools among the best in the country. But Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains some school systems in Maryland are wondering how they're going to pay for it.
It was a gut punch.
Public officials all around our region are sounding the alarm, including the mayor of Baltimore City.
This would mean tough decisions for the city.
The president of the Carroll County Board of Education.
We're struggling.
And state senators.
You know, I've got counties on the Eastern Shore that have said for the entire time since Kerwin has been passed that they cannot afford it.
My largest concern is that the unrestricted funding that we can use across the system for all students is not going to be enough for every school to function in a successful way. It's certainly not going to be able to function the way it does now. There's no way that all schools will have the number of resources that they have today. And how will that affect some schools? How will it affect the students, the teachers, the student achievement, the students' social, emotional status? It's going to have major impact on certain schools.
It's going to be a very large change, and it's going to affect us all. It's going to affect every school. And it's a shame because we have done so well and as a school system.
I mean, we significantly outperform, or like it's pretty commonly known that, you know, academic achievement follows per capita income, right? Like, I mean, there's a definite correlation there, right? And per capita income in Carroll County, we're like somewhere between 8 and 10 in the state, but we're consistently number 1 and number 2 in the state from an academic perspective. Because of the way we run our school system, we outperform the rest of the state from that perspective. But I really feel like a lot of this is actually going to harm, it's going to hurt our program.
The biggest change was that the state adjusted how it identified students under the compensatory education program. Numbers went up dramatically across the state and here in Carroll as well.
Farms enrollment went from 14% to 25%, and that made the picture even bleaker, which is sort of counterintuitive, right? Because, okay, we're going to get 11 million more from the state, but it's just that much more that we have to pull out of the foundation to put into other services. So it just compounds the problem.
Understand what the ramifications of this will be for our school system, in that resources in many forms, but definitely in the form of staff, will have to be moved from certain schools to other schools. And that means that we will have larger class sizes and fewer services in certain schools than we will have in other schools.
They don't want their kids in, you know, class sizes of 50. They're going to pull them out and put them in private school, or they're going to homeschool them. So it could send us back into.
Do we foresee a potential of a lot of out-of-district requests to go to a school that has all those resource teachers, that has all the extra staff?
We've thought about that. We've had preliminary discussions about that, and we've thought, depending on how this ends up, we may be bringing to you revisions to our current out-of-district policy. Because right now we've been able to be very much open with parents about where they choose to send their children to school, as long as they can provide the transportation and as long as that school isn't at its maximum. But with this, that may change what we're able to do so that we can avoid too many parents trying to send their children to a school that has more staff, more layers of service than another school.
We agree with you, Mr. Whistler. I mean, I feel like they're basically saying that you can solve any problem just by throwing more money at it, which is not really what this is about. It's about improving academic achievement, and we're one of the highest performing, if not the highest performing school system in the state because we've figured out how to do things effectively, thus meaning that we need all of it in the foundation, right? Like now they're just saying if you throw more money at it, suddenly it's going to fix the problem. But does it actually have any impact on academic achievement? And I think what you were asking was, let's say academic achievement actually goes down because of them forcing us to spend it in a way that doesn't work for our population and the way our current school system is. Like what this is doing is it's saying, okay, when you disaggregate and you've got, farms performing here and the rest of the student population performing here, we want everybody to go up, and you just want this group to go up faster. But the way this works is the way they're going to fix the gap is they're going to do this, because we're pulling like foundational aspects away from the general population to. So it's not gonna equalize the gap by taking everybody up. It's gonna bring this group down.
Yeah.